every new year I remind myself, and I just want to remind you again, that we're closer to the Lord's return than ever before. There's never been a generation, there's never been a people that are closer to the Lord's return than we are today. And yet we're inclined to forget about this truth. I love that scripture in Proverbs. The path of the just is as a shining light that grows brighter and brighter unto that eternal day. And I'm believing God, and I'm sure a lot of you are too, that as we get closer to that eternal day, that our path will get brighter and brighter. I don't know what you're believing God for, but I'm believing for more light. Light speaks of knowledge, having our eyes opened. And I'm believing God in these dark days that the Lord will arise upon a people in the earth and cause their eyes, their spiritual eyes, to be opened. So we're closer than ever before, that the Lord's coming is near. But a big one for me, this is the one that I find very powerful, is this scripture in Daniel. Daniel was a prophet of God, and it says in Daniel 12:4, "But thou, Daniel, shut up the words, seal the book, even to the time of the end." The time of the end, it says, "Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased." So there are three signs to show us that we've come to the time of the end. One is that men shall run. Men shall run. Men shall run. That means they'll go fast. And then it goes on to say that they'll go to and fro, and that knowledge will be increased. Now, when you look at Scripture, you'll see in Hebrews 1:1-2, it says, "In the past, God spoke to our ancestors through the prophets at many times and in various ways, but in these last days, He has spoken to us by His Son, whom He has appointed heir of all things, and through whom also He made the universe." In these last days, He's spoken to us by His Son. The last days started when Jesus died on the cross, but the time of the end is right before the Lord's return. It's a time when men would run to and fro, move fast, and knowledge shall be increased. Now, there was an industrial revolution in the 1800s, 1850, and since then, knowledge has been increasing and things have been speeding up. The first thing I want to bring out is, "But thou, Daniel, shut up the words, seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run, many shall move fast." And that is a sign. When you look around us, you can see that we are moving very fast. For 5,000 odd years, the fastest that man could go on was a horse. When it came to the time of the end, the Lord suddenly started to show us that man could go faster than a horse. And we see that man started to move fast. In the mid-1800s, the steam engine was invented, but at first, the train wasn't as fast as a horse. Because you see those old cowboy movies and the Indians come riding alongside the train and shooting at it because the train was slower than the horse. But as time went by, trains got faster and faster. In fact, when trains first came onto the scene, the experts were saying, "Listen, these trains are dangerous." In 1825, German experts predicted that going at 25 miles an hour, which is about 40 k's an hour, would cause your nose to bleed. And they said that if you went into a tunnel, you'd suffocate. And so they said it would also cause more mental institutions. That's what they said would happen if you start going too fast. Little did they realize how fast we were going to go. Now in China, there's a train that goes 430 kilometers an hour. That's the fastest train in the world. And there are others that are a little less than that. But trains are now going very, very fast. At first, we had cars in the 1800s, but horses could go faster than cars. The horseless carriage, but they started to go faster and faster. Then, the turn of the last century, we had two Christian brothers, bicycle repairmen, the Wright brothers, who were accredited with inventing the flying machine. And at first, flying machines didn't go very fast, but they started to speed up as time went by. Now, you can go in jets at 3,500 kilometers an hour. Also, you've got rockets going up into space that go faster than that as well. So we see amazing things, and you can go 3,500 kilometers an hour and not get a nosebleed. And you don't get put into an institution for going that fast or suffocate at that particular speed. So we see when you come to the end, there shall be people going very fast, men running, going very fast. The other thing it says is men shall go to and fro. It says, thou, Daniel, shut up the word, seal the book, and until the time of the end, many shall go to and fro, to and fro. There's never been a time like this where people are going backwards and forwards all over the place. Do you realize that in Jesus' day, he ministered in an area that was about 424 kilometers long? That was the area he ministered in his lifetime. I'm not quite sure how wide Israel was in those days, but he ministered in that particular area. That is about the area from Te Awamutu to Wellington. That's the whole area he ministered to in that particular time. But you know, in these days, we travel so much further. I have been going backwards and forwards to Africa, going to England. That's 10,000 odd Ks, backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. This is the age in which we live. This is the time of the end when men would go to and fro, to and fro. In Wales, where I used to see my son when he was there were people living in Newport that travelled all the way to London every day on the train and came back again. That's 900 kilometres a day that they would travel. Amazing. People going backwards and forwards, backwards and forwards. And when I was in South Africa just recently, coming back on the plane from Johannesburg, the plane was full of South Africans leaving the country. And you think there's like 300 odd people. The plane was absolutely full of South Africans going to Australia and New Zealand. That's just every day leaving, going across the world. That's not counting the ones that are going to other places in the world. Refugees going all over the place. People are going backwards and forwards. This is the time of the end that the Lord has spoken about. We see that in the 1800s, as we get near the time of the end, we've got people going out from England, we've got people going out from all over the world, coming here to New Zealand, going to different countries, populating them. Then we had people flying out. So we've come to this time in history when men will go to and fro. Now the next thing I want to show you, it says, but thou, Daniel, shut up the word, seal the book, even to the time of the end. Many shall run to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Now you have to admit that knowledge is increasing at a rapid rate in these days. I looked it up on Google, and it said until the year 1900, knowledge was doubling every 100 years. Up until 1950, it doubled every 25 years. Up until the year 2000, it doubled every year. And they estimate that it'll be doubling soon every 12 hours because of the way in which we're using the internet. My father was a radio technician, and way back many years ago, he used to fix valve radios, and then the transistor radio comes, so he had to get all his books out to learn how to fix transistor radios. Then TV came, so he had to learn how to fix TVs, black and white TV, then colour TV, so he had to learn how to fix colour TVs. Then videos, and he said to me, listen, I can't catch up anymore. I'm just about having a nervous breakdown with all of this stuff coming in. I've got to look up all these manuals because knowledge is increasing concerning these things, and it was really hard. I've got this chart here. It says, in the time of the end, men shall run, move fast, go to and fro, and knowledge shall be increased. Nanotechnology knowledge is doubling every 2 years, and clinical knowledge every 18 months. On average, human knowledge is doubling every 13 months. According to IBM, because of the internet, knowledge will double every 12 hours. So we are in the time of the end. The trouble is, most of us have been born into it, and we're so used to it, but it's not always been this way. It's not been that long that knowledge has just been exploding, and we need to realize that this is a sign that the Lord is coming back. My mobile phone has 8 gigs of RAM on it. Do you realize that the computer that sent Apollo 11 to the moon, that RAM that was on that particular computer, my phone, 2 million times more RAM than that computer that sent the Apollo 11 to the moon. Phenomenal. What I've got on here is something that I longed for in my computer like 10 years ago. Now I've got it on my phone. Amazing to see how things have changed.